Hello everybody, it's Paul Neeson with the Raw Life Health Show. Here's today's guest, Hiawatha Cromer. Hiawatha, say hello to the Raw Life audience.
Hi everybody.
Now Hiawatha, you've been involved in health for a very long time. You yourself worked with Ann Wigmore for many years.
Yes.
Can you tell us first your experience of how you got into health and the raw food diet?
Well, I was ill. In fact, my legs were aching, especially my right leg. In fact, to the point where I thought I was going to have to use a walking cane. And I decided to go to Creative Health Institute and volunteer as an intern. And I went there, and within a month, I was able to be relieved of any pain. In fact, when I went there, I wanted to work in the kitchen, but I could not stand because of the pain. And the owner was Don Hoy, who was the owner at that time, purchased some stools for me to use so I could go from stool to stool in preparing the food, because I was the kitchen manager at that time. They hired, even though I was volunteering, there was nobody else there. I became the kitchen manager and I had no other help, so I had to do all the food prep by myself. So I went from stool to stool.
Well, how many years ago was that?
That was in 1993. May 1st, 1993 is when I started working there.
And the Creative Health Institute is, explain to everybody what that is.
Well, the Creative Health Institute is based on the Ann Wigmore Living Foods lifestyle philosophy, and it's located in Union City, Michigan. And we adhere to what Dr. Ann taught with regards to the sprouting of foods, the fermenting of foods, using wheatgrass as the cornerstone of the program, encouraging people to do wheatgrass enemas and implants, etc.
And prior to going there, did you ever hear of Ann Wigmore, the raw food diet?
No, the way I was introduced to it is a friend of mine who was selling the Bahamian diet went to Creative Health, and I couldn't go that particular day. He went, so he told me, he came back and explained to me there was this raw food place in Michigan, and he gave me the address, and years later I decided to investigate it.
And you since then you had become really good friends with Dr. Ann Wigmore.
Dr. Ann would come to Creative Health Institute every year in June, July, or August, and we called it the Ann Wigmore Week. And she would give lectures. The last time she was there, we went blueberry picking. She was a very interesting person to be with. Very quiet, but when she started talking, she could tell you everything.
And since you had left a Creative Institute years ago, you started your own health kind of spa institute. It's a smaller place giving one-on-one attention. Tell everybody about that place.
Well, it's a small place. We can only handle 5 people at a time, and it's called the Assembly of Yahweh Wellness Center, and it's located in Eden Rapids, Michigan. And we adhere to the Ann Wigmore philosophy. We teach the living foods lifestyle, and it's very different from raw food, because the living food concentrates on easy to digest nourishment. So we recommend the blending of food, the fermenting of food, which should be your regular diet, instead of eating a lot of just raw fruits and vegetables.
Now, you yourself have been doing this for a good amount of time, and there are a lot of people out there that as they get older, they start to get new diseases or any diseases and so on. And how's your health been as you're getting older? Because you've been on this diet for quite a long time.
Now, you know what? Before I went on this diet, I had a problem with thyroid problems, and I still have a thyroid problem, even though I eat the sea vegetables. But I understand, since I've been here, at Rita Romano's place, that I shouldn't be eating a lot of cabbage. I love cabbage, because cabbage and a lot of cruciferous vegetables allegedly is supposed to interfere with the thyroid function.
And other than that, how's your health been?
Fine.
Wonderful. And over the years, you've had a lot of people come to the Creative Health Institute. Some healthy, just want to learn how to eat better, and some just weren't healthy that wanted to get better. Can you tell us some of the stories that people that have come there?
Do you know, we actually witnessed miracles there. In fact, I thought anybody who had an aneurysm would die. But there was a gentleman who was 89 years old who came to Creative Health Institute with an aneurysm of the intestines. And when we went around the room asking people what they hoped to accomplish as a result of being at Creative Health, he said he just wanted to make it to 90. And he had lived too long to be subjected to the surgery and so forth. So years passed by, And I wondered how this man was doing. 2 years passed by, and I often thought about this man. So I finally called him one day, and he answered the phone. And I wanted to know if he had made it to 90. He told me he'd made it to 92. And he was doing the Living Foods program. He was doing the Rejuvenate. He was doing all the components of the program. And so after that, I really started becoming tough on young people, because I said, you know, if this 90-year-old man could be growing wheatgrass and doing the energy soup and so forth, a young person could do it too if they're motivated to do it. So
sure.
They have to want to.
Sure. And at your place at Creative Health Institute, you don't just make the food for them. You teach them how to get in the kitchen and make it themselves.
They have to be in the kitchen. In fact, I sit in the chair in the dining room and I give instructions with regards to them preparing the food. They have to get in there and they chop and use all of the equipment themselves.
And now what percentage of raw food have you been eating over the last 10 or 20 years or so?
I would suggest that 95% of my food is raw.
Wonderful.
Because I find that, in fact, a food scientist told me, Harvey Lowes, who happened to be Dr. Ann's food scientist, one of the food scientists that worked with her, and he lived to be 93, and he died as a result of an accident also. Now, a year prior to his death, he came to visit my center, and he told me that he recommended that people eat soups. He said soups were very good for you, cooked soups, because they would help to alkalize the body and hydrate the body instead of dehydrating the body.
Now, you live in a colder environment there in Michigan. Has it been a challenge for you to do the raw food diet in a colder environment?
Not really. You know, the truth of the matter is, you know, most people are cooked food addicts, and they really enjoy cooked food, and I really enjoy soups. I really enjoy hot soups.
Well, what about the raw food eaten in a cold environment? Has that affected you anyway, or is
that hasn't affected me? But I happened to talk to Dr. Ann about that, and she suggested using cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper would help to warm the body, and ginger would help to warm the body, and so forth.
And from what you know of Dr. Ann, was she 100% raw vegan?
As far as we knew. We never saw Dr. Ann. In fact, Dr. Ann ate very little food. And she ate only blended, fermented, soaked food. She had very little dehydrated food. She prepared dehydrated food, but she prepared that for her students. And she told us that too much dehydrated food was worse than having a cooked food diet.
And something you were telling me about Dr. Ann is she used to make the blender in the morning with the Vitamix and fill it up and then just
she would make her energy soup first thing every morning, and she would put it in a container, and she would eat from that energy soup. She would eat about a cup periodically. She wouldn't eat 3 times a day. Anytime she needed some energy, she would come in and have energy soup.
And do you know how often was that usually?
I really don't know, but I would estimate like it was about every 2 to 3 hours.
And how many hours did she sleep every night? Because there's people say not much.
She told us that she only had to sleep like 4 hours, and that she had a lot of energy. She didn't need any more sleep.
Wow, wonderful. Mm-hmm. So, Hiawatha, is there anything else you'd like to share about yourself or Dr. Ann?
Well, I would just like to indicate that Dr. Ann said that there were only 2 reasons for diseases: toxicity and deficiency, and that you have to have an enzyme-rich diet. You must have most of your food raw and uncooked, and preferably fermented or sprouted or blended, easy to digest nourishment. That was her focus, because Dr. Ann said that we have too many digestive problems, and that the digestive problems caused a lot of allergies. The reason a lot of people had allergies was really because of digestive issues. And if they would really start blending their foods, fermenting their foods, sprouting their foods, and so forth, they would get rid of the problem.
Wow, that's great information. Now, if people want to get in touch with you about the Yahweh Wellness Center, how could they do so?
They could go into my website is www.hiawathakroma.com, or they could go to the assemblyofyahweh.com and hit the wellness, the raw food link.
Okay, we'll put both those links here below the video. Hiawatha, thank you very much for getting in touch with us. Until then, everybody, have a great day, and thank you, Hiawatha.
And thank you for the opportunity.
Okay.
Bye.
Nature's wealth, good for your health. This is the Raw Life Health Show. Raw Life, brighten up your life.